You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome, my friends, to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. My name is Eric Woodard. I'm a high-performance career and leadership coach based out of Washington, D.C. And if you're here on this Tuesday, giving up your valuable time, just really want to acknowledge you for being here. I know there's a lot of places you could be and things you could be doing. And so my intention is really to make this worth your while. And let's get this job thing handled, because it's, if you've been on the job hunt for any length of time, you know that it can sometimes be kind of hard. And look, if you're watching the replay of this, that's also cool. You're not quite as cool as the over 150 people who are here live, although you're pretty cool. So if you would, and I already see a lot of people, I see Chad and Laura and Chris and Lara and Michelle. If you would put in the chat where you're from and how long you've been on the job search, because I would like to know. And I see Rohini and David, right? Where you're from and how long you've been on the job search. Because my friends, sometimes being on the job search can feel a lot like pounding sand. Hey there, we've got Mark from Aurora, very cool. And we've got Rowena from Temecula, Phil in Oregon, Stephen in Chicago. Eric in Chicago. Sometimes it can feel like waiting on a glacier. Evan in New Orleans, and Lauren in Seattle, and Gerald in Houston, and Nathan in Myrtle Beach, and Laura in Nashville. Sometimes it can feel like wandering through the desert. Raven in New York, and Richard in San Diego. And sometimes Marla and Tustin, it can feel like going into an arena. Tyler in Raleigh, and we've got Deborah in Colorado. I hear you there, Deborah. It's been a while for you. Lillian in Miami. Sometimes it can feel like looking into an abyss. Michael and Aurora, and Gwen in Denver, and Christopher, about 5 months there in Georgia. Okay, so who is this for? If you are unsure about the direction you want your career to go, if you've been struggling to find ways to describe what you do, Renia in Cincinnati and Rich in South Carolina, I see you there, Michael, 9 months for you. If you've been wrestling with how to follow up after you apply, Mark in Denver and Rajesh in Connecticut. If you've been tired of applying, and then you hear nothing back, Alejo in Denver and Carlita, I hear you there, Carlita, since June of 2023. If you've been doing interviews that seem to go great and then you get a big fat no, Jennifer in Plymouth. If you're trapped in a job that you don't like and you're not sure how you can escape, and especially most of all, if you're losing hope, this is a workshop for you. On the other hand, if you're somebody who's just kind of super casual about your career, Marty in Houston, I know that's not you. If you're not willing to do the work, right? We got a couple people from Minnesota, Plymouth, right? Is that Kershid, right? And Deirdre, I hear you, Deirdre. Alicia in New York, right? Christina in Delaware, Patrick in Fort Lauderdale. If you're just interested in finding a job to make money, Bikram, I see there, Bikram. If you're stuck in your ways and you're sort of closed-minded about trying new things, right? And you're unwilling to be authentic, this may not be the workshop for you, my friend. So what you're going to learn today, how to get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. I'm going to offer you 4 specific strategies and 9 tactics that my clients are using right now to get hired. We got a bunch of people get hired in August, bunch more the first couple of weeks of September, so that you can do work that matters and pays what you and your family deserve. How about that? So our agenda for today, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I came up with some of these tactics that aren't the usual things you've probably heard that don't work. Samara in Minnesota, right? And I see there, Vlad in Virginia, right? Again, I'm going to give you 4 specific strategies and 9 tactics my clients are using right now. I've got an invitation, right? We got a big crowd here today. And I know some of you have messaged me before, like you've already had friends or family that have gone through our program. You're already like, I want to sign up. If that's you, and you already know that, the way this is going to work is you're going to book a call with us. And some of you are like, I don't want to book a call. And that's 100% okay. We've got Jessa and Chris helping us today. So thank you, Jess. They just dropped the link in the chat. So if you already know you want to book a call, the only 3 requirements are: 1, you're going to show up. You're not going to book a call and not keep it, because my team's not that big. Don't ghost us. That sucks. 2, you're going to be at least open to the idea of making an investment, right? You want somebody to hire you and them to pay you money. You're going to be at least open to the idea of doing that yourself, to invest in yourself. And 3, you're ready to get started. It's not like you're going to want to start, find a job 6 months from now. So if that's you and you already know about the program, go ahead and book a call. And that's the sign up sheet to do that. And then we're going to have time for Q&A. I don't have anything after this workshop on purpose so that we can take lots of questions. And we got a big crowd here today, so we're going to have lots of questions. So who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job? Well, I don't know if I can help you find a job, maybe. So Phil's already asking, what's the investment? How much money is it? So Phil, we'll get to that. And Phil, we don't even know if we can help you, Phil. So hold on there. I'll just put a pin in that question. So just to tell you a little bit about my backstory, I grew up in Asia. I came to the States when I was 17, transferred college about 7 times, right? I was really lost. I was like, I didn't really have a sense of career or what I wanted to be when I grew up or any of that stuff. I wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam. That was pretty cool. I spent about 10,000 hours underwater, right? With the fish and the sun. And that was pretty cool, but my brain got a little bit spongy and I was like, man, I don't want to do this forever. So I thought, what would be the most sort of prestigious, Kathy says, relax, Phil, you're fine, Phil. Don't worry. And Kathy, I appreciate you. So it's pretty funny. So it's hilarious. So I was a scuba instructor and I thought I got to figure out my career. So I thought, what would be the most prestigious job that I could find? And I thought, well, that must be something like the White House. So I literally took out a piece of notebook paper and hand wrote a letter to the White House and said, Dear Mr. President, we love you, Phil. That's right. Dear Mr. President, you should hire me. And I sent it off. And it was the worst cover letter ever written. I'm like, I'm never hearing from those guys. And about a month later, I was going past the Guam post office. They came out and they're like, Eric, you got a letter from the White House. It was on this fancy White House stationery. And I was like, so I opened it up and it was an internship application. Now, folks, I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications because I transferred college so many times. So I filled that out, sent it in. I'm like, I am never hearing back from those bastards. But that got me thinking. I applied to some grad schools. I got into GWU, landed in DC with like this big bushy haircut and was like dumpster diving for furniture and, was like trying to figure it out. And I bought a pair of running shoes, was out running past the White House one day. And I was like, those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. What's up with that? So I found a payphone. I put in a quarter and I called them and I said, hey, White House, what about that internship thing? And they're like, is this Eric from Guam? I'm like, yeah. They're like, man, we've been trying to get in touch with you. You're supposed to start in the First Lady's office on Monday. So I bought a pair of shoes. I bought a suit. I got a haircut and I showed up. Now, look, folks, I know there's a lot of crazy politics in our country right now. So if my politics don't happen to match yours, I don't know what to tell you. I apologize. And this is going to tell you how old I am. This is back during the Clinton administration. I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. That's right, Krishid. She was a great boss, right? Great boss. Wound up getting hired in Hillary land on her staff. Was with her for a lot of the Clinton administration at the White House, followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we represented New York. Awesome, New York. Then followed her to the State Department, where I did a bunch of stuff with UNESCO. Eventually left Hillary land and became director of fellowships and internships at the Smithsonian Institution. Yeah, Krishid, right? And all during this time, I just saw a lot of people at every level, early professionals, mid-career professionals, senior executives, all different industries, tech, business, nonprofits, everything you can imagine, would go through the same process over and over of trying to figure out this job stuff. Because folks, there's not a lot about this process that's very linear or logical or fair, as you've probably discovered firsthand. So now I do a lot of coaching. I give a lot of talks. I've written a bunch of books. I have an outrageous number of very impressive pieces of paper and glowing testimonials, and you don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? Oh, probably, maybe. I've helped a lot of people. Let's find out. Okay, so buckle up. 4 strategies that my clients are using to get hired real damn fast right now, and you can too. So here we go. Let's put this in the chat. Let's see if anybody gets this right. Last week, nobody got it right. What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat, please. And I like to give away things to people that get right answers. I'm just warning you ahead of time, right? What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see. So Rowena says skills. Keith says getting the interview, achievements, right? What you can do for them. Carl says it's about you and what you can do. Ooh, Carl. Leo says accomplishments, right? Education. Ken says accomplishments, applicable career skills and journey. What value you can offer, says Corey. I haven't seen there. It's to get you the interview, says Samara. How you can solve their problem, says Tom. What I can offer, says Antonio. Nobody's got it right. Oh, Raven J gets the right answer. Let's make sure we give Raven J. We're going to give you, we've got a free free course. It's called How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. Raven J, we're going to send you that because Raven's right. What a lot of you are saying is a good resume. So there's the LinkedIn course, Raven. We're going to send this to you, right? So Jessa and Chris are going to make sure we write down your name. So Kathy says new bits. No. Okay. So a lot of you are saying it's about ATS or it's about, me and my skills. Nah, it's not about you, my friends. You want to be influential with another human being? You're going to talk about them. Good resume is not about you. It's not about a good one's not. A good resume is about them. So the opportunity, and when I say resume, I'm talking your cover letter, your follow-up, right? Your interviews, all of it. It's not about you. It's about them. So this was strategy number 1. A lot of job seekers, it's me. Let me tell you all about, let me sell myself. No, employers are focused on themselves. So the opportunity for you is to also be focused on them. That's the opportunity. You want to make it all about them. And it's no wonder often that we think a good resume is about us, because very likely the first resume you ever did was out of school. And in school, it is about you. It's your cubby. It's your worksheet. It's your desk. It's your transcript. It's your trophy. And yet when we move to the working world, it's not about us. It's about the client, the constituent, the customer, the shareholder. It's about them. So if you get nothing else out of this workshop today, get this. This alone will change your job search. Okay, I got another one here. Okay. So Kershid, it's so interesting. Kershid's saying it's about what I can do for them. And the thing about that, Kershid, is so you're close, Kershid. It's not about what you can do for them. It's about what's possible for them. See, Kershid, you can take that out of it. But Kershid, I like people that ask for things. So we're going to send Kershid that free course too, right? And Raven says, I have a LinkedIn. That's great. So this course is going to make it better. So Martin P, let's put Martin P's, let's put that on the screen if we can. Can we share that on the screen to put up? Yeah, Martin P booked a call. So Martin P, congratulations, you booked a call. We're going to send you that LinkedIn course too, Martin P, for being the first one to book a call. Right? We're going to be the first one to book a call. Okay, so here we go. Here's another. Yeah, that's right, Kershid. So if I went to a library and I saw a shelf of books, and on the front cover of those books, there were some words. What would we call those words? Right? What would we call those words? So Megan, you got to get the right answer. Right? What would we call those words on the front cover of a book? What do we call those words that we put on the front cover of a book? What do we call those words? Somebody's going to get this right. So marketing. No, it's not marketing. Glenn. Okay, so I saw a bunch of people get it all right. So Randy Dillon, Phil Rael, Brett Stack, Glenn Ogletree, and I saw you were the first ones. Yes, it's a title. That's what we call the words on the front cover of a book. Now, isn't it interesting that that's the same term we use to label people in the workplace? Which tells me that just like we'll put a title on the front cover of a book, right? we'll put the title on the front cover of somebody's career. And this brings us to the idea of stories. Let me ask you, I got another question, because some of you are like, damn it, there's a delay. I was first. I was so fast. Okay, I got another chance for you. What percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical? Put it in the chat if you would, please. So is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? Like when we make decisions as human beings, what percent is emotion and what percent is logic? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if anybody gets this right. So Mark says it's 65-35, right? Carl says 80-20, Chris 80-20, Bella, okay, 95 says Lauren, Steven says 90, Rowena says 80. I have not seen the right answer yet. Brett says 70, Tanya says 80, Sue says 70. Nobody's got it. Oh, nope. I thought I saw it, but I didn't. Chelsea says 40. Deirdre says 90. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Carl says 80. I see. Oh, Laura Gutierrez got the right answer. She was the first one. It's 100% emotional. Human decision-making is 100% emotional. And the reason we know that is when somebody gets their limbic system damaged, right? Like their ability for emotion, they're fine, except they can't make a single decision. And that's actually the part that's debilitating. Human decision-making is 100% emotional, and it happens very quickly. It's almost, so when you guys got on this workshop today, you made split-second emotional decisions about whether you liked my face, the sound of my voice, the shirt I was wearing, all the music I was playing, like all of it. And now you're just basically taking in data to rationalize the emotional decision that you've already made. So those of people walk around and say, we make data-driven decisions. No, you don't. Nobody does. It's a lie. And this brings us to the power of stories. Right? The ability, and you know what I saw a couple others here. I see Deirdre Hart and Mark Rothenberg. You guys were early birds on this. So we'll make sure we send you that LinkedIn course too. Thanks. Thanks, crew. Well, we got a nice big crowd here today. Okay. So like stories, our ability to process story information is like 40 million bits a second. And our ability to process like logical information is like 20 bits a second. All right, Jennifer, did you get it right too? All right, Jennifer Burria, we're going to send that. We're going to send that to you. So Rowena says, we're going to get to your question later, right? We're going to, because it looks like a good one, Rowena. Okay. So the reason stories are so important, it's like Maya Angelou taught us, right? People are going to remember how you make them feel. And stories are how we convey emotion. Okay. So you're going to want to make your application a story, all of it a story. If you're not using story in your stuff, you're really leaving stuff on the table. Okay. And realize that a title is just a story. Austin H booked a call. Nice job, Austin H. Let's make sure we send Austin H that course. Yeah. Good job, Austin H. Way to go. Okay. So for instance, one time I was taking a bunch of applications, and this one woman, her name was Maggie. She explained how the summer before she was in a terrible car accident and her arm had gotten severed. Whoa, what a story. So I accepted Maggie in the program, like thinking the first day, how are we going to accommodate this one-armed woman? She walks in the first day, folks, 2 arms. Now it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and reattached, and she was doing some physical therapy. Maggie was going to be okay. Now, was I pissed off that she had 2 arms? Of course not. I was so happy she had both our arms. And I remember that story to this day, and that story was probably 25 years ago. So you're going to want to use story. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. What's this guy called? I'll give you a hint. He lives in Idaho. What's this guy's name? Right? What is this guy's name here? He lives in Idaho. He goes to high school. What's this guy's name? Let's see if anybody gets it right. Right? Somebody's getting, okay, so I saw a couple. So Megan Taylor, there you go, Megan. Megan Taylor and Corey Lowe. You were the first 2 I saw. Yeah, this is Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite. Now, first of all, if you are unfamiliar with this fine piece of cinema, please stop your job search immediately and go watch this. Come on, people. We're trying to create a society here. And I don't want to ruin it for you. The deal with this movie is Napoleon's a high school kid. He sort of beats to his own drum. In this particular scene, he's on stage in front of his entire school. He's managed to get a cassette tape up to the sound booth, but they're starting to play it. And now he's on the hook to do some kind of performance because his friend Pedro has chickened out, right? So Napoleon just like does this crazy dance. I mean, he metaphorically opens the kimono. I mean, this thing is wild. And when he's done, he's sort of like panting and sweating, right? And everybody's like this. And then the entire student body bursts into applause. And the reason it works is because it's so authentic. Jamie Kern Lima, the founder of It Cosmetics, says everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully. And she's right. Authenticity. You're going to want to use authenticity in your job search. So many people are trying to be proficient in Microsoft Office. Stop. Hey, Valina B, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. Nice job, Valina. Right? And let's make sure we send Valina that course, guys, because she's, let's send Valina the free LinkedIn course. Valina's LinkedIn profile is going to be awesome. Awesome. We're going to want to be authentic. Let me ask you a question. Who do humans hire? I'll tell you. Humans hire humans. And all of a sudden, I can hear all of you saying, but Eric, but what about the ATS? What about the algorithm? What about AI? I'm a fan of AI. I think it's miraculous. And at the end of the day, humans hire humans. Are there some organizations out there that use software to help basically put their applications? Hey, Tyler, we look forward to talking to you, Tyler. We look forward to talking to you. Let's make sure we send Tyler that course too, by the way, right? So yeah, there's organizations that use software, and like, we don't want to get it in the business of trying to like trick a computer. We have thumbs, folks, right? And increasingly like artificial and automated world, the opportunity is to be more human, not less. Yeah. Those of you who've been playing the ATS game, how's that working out for you? And I'm sorry, because there's a lot out there about that. You got to have an ATS optimized resume, ATS friendly. It's got to be ATS. A lot of people unemployed right now because they're busy doing that. Stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, Christina, I hear you. Okay, so the opportunities, instead of jump through a bunch of hoops to try and please a bunch of computers, and I'm a fan of AI and computers, right? The opportunity is to be human, be relatable. Okay, we're going to talk a lot more about this. So, for example, one time I was coaching Nina, and we went through her resume, and at the end of it, I was like, Nina, I have no evidence on here that you're a human. What do you like to do for fun? She sort of hemmed and hawed, and finally it came out that Nina had a pen collection. I mean, that's super effing weird. We got to put that on there. She's like, oh, no, I could never do that. I finally got her to do it, that she had a pen collection. She went into an interview a month later. They talked about pens for 30 minutes. Then she got an offer. I have so many examples of this. I could spend this whole workshop just telling you stories about this, of different examples. I could tell you about Tom's trumpet, or we have a client right now. Her name's Charlotte. I could tell you about Charlotte's saxophone. Yeah, all of it. Authenticity is your superpower, 100%. Okay, here's Abe Lincoln. Give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. And this brings us to the power of systems. Systems, okay? Systems. You currently have a system around your job search, and the results you're currently getting are perfectly attuned to your current system. So if you want different results than the results you've been getting, the opportunity is to adopt a different system. And for some of you, your system is, I'm going to worry about my age. I'm going to hide my graduation dates. Hey, Nagarajan. Nice job booking a call. Names are important. Don't let me mispronounce your name, right? So the opportunity for you is to change your system, right? And for some of you, your system is, I'm going to hide my age on my resume. I'm going to try and trick ATS. Some of you, your system is, I'm only going to put the last 10 years of experience because some 20-something recruiter told me that was the right thing to do 3 months ago. How are those systems working? I'm sorry, right? Probably not so great. So the opportunity for you is to have a better system, to iterate, right? There's no such thing as a failed experiment. And look, for a lot of you guys, this is your current system. And my heart goes to you because you've been working your heart out with this system, with like the sticky gear shift and right? I mean, like you've used every combination of settings possible, right? Okay, Naga, right? Every combination of settings possible. And you're still wondering why you can't steer yourself to job success. Here's the opportunity. This is the system that's available to you. So you can spend a lot of time and money trying to figure out how to go from this to this, or you could just get this job stuff handled, right? Just like a lot of other people have. Okay. What are the other bullets? Oh, okay. So this is Phil, right? So that's the opportunity. So look, folks, I'll put this up for Phil for just a second, right? So a lot of times, well, let me just show you, right? So when well, sorry, Phil. There'll be a recording here, brother. Sorry. Let's make sure we send Phil the LinkedIn course because I'm going too fast for Phil. Phil Riel, we're sending you the LinkedIn course. We're also sending it to Megan D because she booked a call. Okay, so how do you put this all to work? So look, folks, I mentioned earlier, I've got a program. It's amazing. It works. It gets a lot of people hired real damn fast. It's a lot of one-on-one coaching and group coaching, and there's a community and there's a course, and it's, the guarantee we offer is we get you hired in 3 months or less, or we stay with you until you do. And if you're interested in that, and like you're worried that the calendar's starting to fill up, book a call. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that later. Yeah, Phil was taking notes. That's right. Okay. So that's the link to book a call. We're going to drop it in there. But I just want to show you, let's play the example of Angel, right? So Angel attended this workshop, and this was right at the beginning of the year. And she attended this workshop, and let's just show them what happened for Angel. Yeah. In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the job. Yay!
Whoa!
The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, like, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days, so I was able to do it. Yay!
And I just want to acknowledge you. Like, you dove in, you did it, you did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would not have been possible without signing up for this program. Truly, I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you. Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah, nice job. Hey, Eric Medina, I saw you in the chat. We're going to have plenty of time for Q&A. I promise. We're going to get to the Q&A. So don't worry, Eric. If you've got good questions, we'll make sure we star them. So Sonia's asking about, do we pay for the program before getting the job? Yeah, you do, Sonia, because we want you to have skin in the game. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And Michelle likes my Ron John shirts. Yeah, he just passed away just the other day. The guy Ron passed away. Okay, guys, so let's get into these 9 tactics. Here we go. Buckle up because we're going to go kind of fast. All right, guys, here's tactic number 1. Now, some of you who are watching the replay, this is when I like to talk real damn fast because it's going to freak you out. And I'm going to because they're usually playing me on 2 times speed. So I like to do that. Let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, someone's drowning. Now, they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Kathy W., you booked a call. Look forward to talking to you, okay? So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Hey, let's make sure we send Amber Stephenson and Kathy, both of them. Everybody who's booking a call, let's make sure we send all of these guys the course, guys. Okay, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Okay, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Yeah, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Hey, Laura, we look forward to talking to you. We'll make sure we send you that course, right? So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Okay, so Eric, you're saying me, I am, right? So I see Carl. Carl says me. Oh, Tom Mahoney's the first one I see to get it right. So a lot of you understandably are saying, hey, it's me. I'm the one drowning. And it's not accurate. Hey, Amber S., we look forward to talking to you. Nice work, right? It's the organization that's drowning. And the reason we know they're the one drowning is they've told us, right? They put out a job description to say, hey, we're drowning in work. Somebody help us. The people in the boats are actually the job seekers. You're the one in the boat. And yet a lot of us are acting as though we're the ones drowning. Sometimes I talk to people and I'll say, how's your job search going? And they're like, I'm drowning. They'll literally say the words. Randy D booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Randy. Nice work. Okay. So this brings us to the opportunity of mindset. Really important. Okay. A lot of people are like, I hope they pick me. Nancy S booked a call. Way to go, Nancy. Right? That's wrong. They'd be lucky to get you, right? You need a job, but you don't need that job, right? You don't need that job. But you might be the only Milton or Nancy or Keith. Keith C booked a call. We look forward to talking to Keith C. You might be the only one of those. Let's make sure we send all those guys courses, guys. Raven says, Raven, did you say it first? Well, let's take care of Raven. Make sure we send Raven J that course. Poor Jessa and Chris are behind the scenes, and they are just racing right now because you guys are booking a lot of calls. So we golf clap for Chris and Jessa. Okay, you want to approach this from a place of service. This isn't about you being impressive. It's not about you at all. What they think about you is none of your business, right? You want to approach this from a place of service. Way to go, Marchar. I like your name, by the way. Good name, Marchar. We're going to send the course. We're going to look forward to talking to you. Right? People don't want to be sold. They want to be served. Nobody wants to be sold. They want to be served. Right? We've gone over this, people, historically. Right? Oh, Raven already has the courses. Eric's keeping track. Okay? So, like, this is the opportunity. Stephen, we look forward to talking to you as well. Okay? Nice job. Let's make sure we take care of Stephen. Okay? People don't want to be sold. Selling people's weird, right? We've gone over this historically. Buying people's even weirder. We don't want to do that. Okay, guys. Tactic number 2. Some of you have seen the show Deadliest Catch, where they put these big steel cages on the ocean floor, right? Fishermen in Alaska, they are trying to catch crab. And the way this works is they put a little bit of bait in these traps, and Bob the crab comes along and says, oh, free lunch. So Bob's nibbling away, and then Sally and Cheryl and more crabs join. Eventually the bait is gone. And so here's the interesting part. Let's say Charlie's in there. He's like, there's no more bait, boys. I'm out of here. Did you like my Charlie voice? I practice my crab voice all the time. I do it just for you, right? I do it just for you, right? So my crab voice, this is my crab voice. So Charlie the crab's like, I'm out of here, boys. And the other crabs will pull Charlie back in. They'll even pull off Charlie's leg. They'll even do a crab murder. Melissa, we look forward to talking to you, Melissa. Nice work. Okay. Because crabs like to be with other crabs. They like it instinctively. And of course, it's the most dangerous move of all because all the crabs get pulled up and become dinner. And this brings us to tactic number 2, which is environment, right? A lot of us are thinking, I'm not making progress in my job search because I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm old, I'm young, I got mustard on my shirt, fill in the blank. Melissa, you don't have mustard in your shirt. We look forward to talking to you, right? A lot of you are thinking that. No, environment eats motivation for lunch. Right? So the opportunity, and this is what helps a lot of our clients get hired fast, is let's take a look at your environment. And when I say environment, I'm talking about your social environment, your physical environment, your emotional environment, your spiritual environment, your intellectual environment. And this can be directed by the media you consume. It can be a book you're reading that was written by somebody 150 years ago. It all counts. So if you're not considering your environment, a lot of us just go right to me, right? We're focused on us. I'm bad. I'm a mess. I'm a screw up. I'm too much. Nah, just you got a crappy environment. You've got an environment that's not supporting you. So, so the opportunity is to safeguard it. Thank you for the compliment on my crab voice, Chelsea Moore. I appreciate that. Right. So some of you have heard the idea of reference groups, right? You're the average weight, income, education of the 5 people you hang out with most. So you're going to want to hang out with a group of people that are up to what you're doing. And look, for some of you, you don't have a lot of control over this, right? Because it could be that your family is maybe not supportive, or maybe they're really supportive, and that support looks like, well, just settle, take $50,000 less, and just get a job because they're worried about you getting rejected again. They want to keep you safe, and it comes from a good place, and it's not particularly helpful. So let's move on to the next target. Yeah, the next tactic. It's hard to hit a blurry target, and this is vision. Sometimes I talk to potential job seekers and I'll be like, how much money do you want to make? And they're like, well, anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000. What do you want to do? Well, I want to help people. I'm like, that's beautiful. And it's really vague, right? And we don't want that. This has to do with a thing called the reticular activating system, right? The reticular activating system is like, if all of a sudden I say red, you're now all suddenly much more aware of the color red. Just because I said it out loud, it went in your ears and it's in your brain now. Right? Our brain will literally be aware of what we tell it to look for. So if we're asking it to look for something that's really sort of ambiguous, it will be blind to it. There's a reason when race car drivers drive 500 miles in a circle, they're really intentional not to look at the outer wall, because the car will tend to look where the car goes. And if you don't have vision, if you're not looking anywhere, you're just going to go around in circles just like those race car drivers. It's no good. No good, my friends. Okay. All right. I got another one here. If I went to a store and I bought this, what would I be buying? Put it in the chat if you would, please. What would I be buying? Right? If Kathy says she drives in circles, right? If I went to a store and I bought this, what would I be buying? Cordy S just booked a call. Let's make sure we send Cordy. Let's make sure we take care of Cordy S. What would I be buying if I went to a store and I bought this? Okay, let's see here. A lot of people saying drill, tool, electric drill. Okay, I haven't seen the right answer yet. Okay, Carl says junk. Carl's not a fan of. So Chris says tool, cordless drill. Lauren says solution. Oh, Keith. You know what, Keith? I think we already took care of you, but I'm gonna remember you, Keith. Let's see if we can get another one here. Keith is very close. Hey, Patricia, we're gonna take good care of Patricia Hollinger. Guys, I think you're booking calls so fast. My team's having a hard time keeping up. Same with you, Belma. Okay, so I haven't seen the right answer yet. I think Keith was the closest. Okay, so Keith said, I just want to make sure, yeah, I haven't seen the right answer yet. I don't see it yet. So a lot of you are saying it's a drill. Nah, you're not buying a drill. What you're actually buying, what you actually are buying here are holes. So let's make sure we take care of Keith if we haven't already, right? You're buying holes. I don't need this sitting around my garage, right? So Keith, we're going to hook you up with this course, right? What I actually need is a hole. And this brings us to tactic number 4, which is give them safety, right? And actually, Keith, I love you, man, but you're wrong. It's that I don't need a bunch of holes in my wall. Who needs a bunch of holes? What I actually need is a place to put the hook. We're still going to send you the course, Keith. Don't worry, right? I don't need a bunch of holes in my wall. What I actually need is a place to put the hook. And actually, I don't need a bunch of hooks. I gash my arm open. What I actually want is a place to hang the picture. And you know what? I don't even want a place to hang the picture. What I really want is the feeling I get when I look at the picture of my beautiful family that's hanging on the hook that's in the hole that was made by the drill. Some of you are hey, Nafista booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Nafista, right? Some of you are spending a lot of time just talking about yourselves, and that's just a disaster. I mean, that's just, and even though some of you are maybe talking about them and you're talking about the drill, when what they're really wondering about is something that keeps them up at night when they're laying in bed trying to go to sleep. If you can get to that thing, folks, this is a game changer. Deborah W., we look forward to talking to you, Deborah, right? Game changer. Do you see how this is so much more sophisticated than trying to trick ATS systems and hiding your age, concealing stuff? If you can make them feel seen, heard, and understood, you'll have so many job offers, you won't know what to do with yourself. So the question is, how do you do that in a job search? Okay, guys, here we go. Here's a copy of my resume, and resumes are sort of the least good way of job searching that we've come up with since Roman times. Hey, Naresh, we look forward to talking to you. Nice job, Naresh. Okay, so like paper. And when I say paper, I'm talking about your resume, your follow-up, your cover letter, all the paper that's involved. Right? The last thing you're going to want to do is follow best practices, because hey, Satya, we look forward to talking to you, right? Best practices is just another way of like professional camouflage, right? Like there's this company Teal, and nothing against I don't want to get sued by Teal. Teal's fantastic. And like, but software like that, where like, I'm going to make my resume look like everybody else's. Stop. Right? If you're trying, people are going to believe what you show them more than what you tell them. And if you show them that you're just like everybody else, then that's the message they're going to receive. So you don't want to do any of that, right? Hey, Belma, there you are. We look forward to talking to you, Belma. It took a while for our system to catch up to you, right? And realize that how you send stuff, when you send it, to whom you send it, it all matters. You want to communicate with people in a way they can't ignore. Stephen S. Way to go, Stephen S. You booked a call, okay? It's really important. So for instance, in my resume, I have hyperlinks. Right? Something a little different. Now, are they going to like click any of those hyperlinks? I have no idea. And I don't care, because I'm showing them that I'm an old man that knows how to use technology. If you look really closely, I've got little logos in there, right? I don't say actually, this is an older version. My version now, instead of work, it says denting the universe, or, so it's because it's more personable. Corey L. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. Okay. So realize it's a communication piece. You want to communicate in a way they cannot ignore, right? You want to show them that you're not like everybody else. So Todd's saying, what about AI? We'll come back to you, Todd. What about AI? Hey, guys. Hey, Ted B., you booked a call. Really appreciate that. Hey, guys, I meant to say this. This is something we're going to do a little bit new today. If you have a question and you'd like me to answer it live, I'm going to attempt to try and bring somebody to camera. And so we'll see you. We've never done it before. We'll see if it works. So if you have a question, say, hey, Eric, bring me on live, and we'll try that today. And my team is all of a sudden panicking because they're not sure how we're going to do it. I got you, team. Don't worry. And we'll see. But we'll see how if we have time to do it. Okay, guys, here we go. If a job application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? Patricia S., Patricia H., Look forward to talking to you. If there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? I would humbly suggest it does not. And this brings us to tactic number 6, which is follow-up. Some of you are applying and being like, well, hope I hear back on that one. Or you'd like to follow up, and dadgummit, Colin B put to call. Dadgummit, you just don't have their contact info. All right, so we're going to talk about that here right now. I want to give some stuff away. So a lot of you are like, hey, what about, and actually, guys, we don't want that link. I mean, that's fine. That's the link to book a call. We want another link. Okay. So here's how, so I have a free course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. This is how you can follow up. We're going to send it to everybody who does this. First, you're going to go to my LinkedIn page. We're going to drop that link. Thanks, Jess and Chris. Right now, you're going to go to my LinkedIn page, right? You're going to follow me, and then you are going to email me the word chicken, just like the bird, chicken, right? So if you go to LinkedIn, you follow me, and you message me, right? And you write the word chicken, right? Then we will send you that LinkedIn course. Okay. So now that's no longer an excuse. You want to follow up. And by the way, after you apply, when you follow up, you don't want it to be like, I'm really passionate about your organization. I could do a really good job for you, because that's all about me. You want to follow up and make it about them, right? You want to show them. So you can put on the top of your resume, I'm somebody who takes initiative, or you could show them, right? So perfect example. Guy, so notice I'm going to tell a story. Guy named Darren Hardy, used to be publisher of Success Magazine. He does a lot of coaching now. He tells the story of when he was a realtor, how when it became apparent that somebody was working to sell their house and all the other realtors in town knew about it, right? They would sort of call mid-morning. Darren would show up about 5:30, clipboard in hand. Hey, Chris Kern, we look forward to talking to you. Clipboard in hand, knocking on their door, and they'd say, who the hell are you? And he'd be like, I'm Darren. I'm going to sell your house. Here's the paperwork. And if they didn't sign up right then, around mid-morning, they'd get a gift basket, and they did all these other things, right? He followed up, right? He didn't just it wasn't just a one-off. Yeah, that's right, Mark. He goes way back. That's right, Darren Hardy does. That's for sure. Okay. So you're going to want to follow up, my friends. Okay. This is another really important one, folks. So pay attention. If you're, I know we're going fast. There's a lot to get hired fast. Okay. Some of you have seen the Academy Awards, and some big actor will get up there and she's won a big prize, and she gets up there, and there's a huge crowd, and she says, well, I got nobody to thank. And they're sort of looking around awkward and sort of waiting for it. No, she gets up there and she's like, I got to thank this person and this person, this person, this, and they're trying to drag her off stage. This brings us to the idea of our network. So Richard, you got to put it in my LinkedIn, Richard and Kathy, right? You can't put it here. So go to my LinkedIn and follow me, and then message me on LinkedIn. Catherine and Richie. They're like, we want to do it here. Yeah, Patricia, it's chicken. Okay. Networking. There is a unit. So for some of you, I'd say, how many people do you know in the world? And you'd be like, I don't know, maybe 15. I'm like, no, your whole life. And then you might say, okay, maybe 1,000. Okay. And I'd be like, great. How many of those people know, how many of those people know that you're on the job hunt? And you'd be like, oh, quite a good number. I'd be like, well, what percent? You'd be like 30%. I'd be like, well, how would they know? Well, I posted on my LinkedIn 3 months ago. Right. So it's like, oh, somebody needed the word, Richard. Thank you. Thank you, Richard. I'm sorry. I'm going faster. I don't see the whole thing. They were helping out. So we appreciate that. Right. I got you, Richard. Thank you for helping your fellow people on here, folks. That's service. Okay. So they might have heard about you 3 months ago if they happen to go to your LinkedIn page and they happen to see that post. And you probably haven't been talking to them in the last 3 months. So so a lot of times people buy into the misinterpretation of reality that asking for help makes you look weak. Nah, asking for help makes you look strong. Benjamin Franklin talked about this. Brene Brown taught us that vulnerability actually builds trust. Hi, Rakia. Yeah, I see it, right? Vulnerability builds trust. And guess what? The one reason is they're going to hire you. It's not your experience. It's not your skills. It's not even if they like you. It's if they trust you. And there's no better way to build trust than asking for help, being vulnerable, right? And you were going to want to have a system on this, because some of you are like, well, I follow up. I do 4 or 5 a day. Well, if you know 1,000 people, as probably all of anybody who's on this workshop does, you're going to want to have a system that allows you to filter the ocean, because you don't know where the fish are going to be, and wherever you think they are, you're wrong, right? And where they show up, we don't want to not be there. So you're going to want a system that allows you to filter the ocean of people you know, right? And asking for help. This is the most powerful thing my clients do when they get hired fast. And some of them, it takes a little bit of courage to ask for help. And sometimes people are in my program for like a month and they finally do this, and then they get like 3 offers. It's amazing. But that's why they have a coach, because we help them do it. Okay, here we go. It's not how many people you know, it's how many people know you. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but hey, Laura Ali. So it's how many people know you. Yeah, I would say it's how many people know that you need help, right? They may know you, but like they may not know you need help. What's required is a prompt, and that often requires somebody saying, hey, I need help. Justin T booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Justin T. Nice work. Okay, interviews. Okay, here we go, guys. You guys have been such a great crowd. We're going to get to questions here, I promise. Good job. Good job. Yeah, Corey, we got you, Corey. We got you. You booked a call, right? So like interviews, here's the best interview advice in the world. Nice job, Marisar. Right here it is. Don't answer their questions. Stop worrying about answering their questions, right? There's only one question they're ever asking in an interview, and this is the question: can we trust you? That's it. Now, if we were living in a society where truth was ubiquitous, they would just say, can we trust you? And the person would say, well, yes or no. And that would be the interview. But we can't do that, because that's not how society works. If we had a universal translator, it'd be pretty funny, right? Because we'd be like, rah, tell me about a time you had a special achievement at work. And they go, rah, 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 can we trust you? Right? Tell me about a time you made a mistake. Rah, 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 can we trust you? Talk to me about the gap on your resume. Rah, 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 can we trust you? That's it. So rather than worrying about answering their questions, focus exclusively on giving answers that are going to help them build trust with you. And Rebecca L., you booked a call. Nice work. And telling stories that do the same. You do this, you're like those of you who've been on like 3 or 4 interviews and you get right to the end and then it's always a no. This is what's going to help you. Stop focusing on their questions. Start focusing on answers that are going to make them feel safe. Right? It goes back to what they're thinking about when they try to go to sleep at night. They don't care about their questions. What they're really just trying to suss out is, can they trust you? And they're saying stuff to get you to say stuff to judge your mouth noise. That's really it. All right, guys, this is the final tactic. You guys have been a great crowd. Let's talk about offers. Some of you, right, are looking at jobs. You're like, oh, I'm pretty particular about where I apply, right? Pretty particular about where I apply. And I'll be like, why? Well, Eric, if I get the job offer, then I've got to move the family to Connecticut and default negative future. Stop. Realize 2 things. 1, you don't have to worry if you want a job, right? And you don't have to worry if you're qualified. So let's reverse that. They'll have an opinion if you're qualified. Okay. They'll have an opinion, right? Right. And theirs is probably the one that means the most. And 2, unless and until you get an offer, you don't know what you're saying yes or no to. So the opportunity is to apply from a place of curiosity and possibility. If they say, well, if we, offered to pay you $1 a year and you had to move to Alaska, is that possible? You say, sure. Because isn't it? Right? Let them fall in love with you, right? Let them make you the offer. And then you could say, hey, you want somebody who can do this and this and this and this and this and this, and you want the best person. How can I do this job in Alaska for $1? And then we don't know what they'll say. But that's how you deal with offers. A lot of times people pay for this program that I'm talking about multiple times over just by how we help them negotiate the offer. It just helped him with a guy, his nickname Spartacus, just this week. Kevin L. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Kevin L. Okay, guys, so write this down. You guys have been such a great crowd. This is how you get hired fast. This is it. And folks, once upon a time, I might have said, well, maybe it'll work. Nah, we just got too many receipts. And very likely this is different than stuff you've heard before, because this stuff is not Googleable. If you Google how to find a job search, you even ask ChatGPT, right? They're using large language models, right? They're using, there you go, Eric, right? They're using large language models. They're using averages, and everybody's out there doing the same stuff, and it doesn't work. This stuff that I'm offering you here, I came up with. Now, look, I'm sure you've heard maybe some of it before, right? But like the prior one. Yeah, there you go, Eric. There you go, Eric. We'll take so guys, you're gonna want to have a system, right? And Eric, I promise you're gonna get to replay, right? Here's a system, right? It's the one we offer. A bunch of you have already said you're interested in it, right? System we offer, it's a program called Get Hired Fast. It comes with a bunch of stuff, one-on-one coaching, group coaching. We meet 4 times a week now, and I think it's really helping our people get hired super fast. We've got if you thought this workshop was any good, there's like, wait till you see the paid version. And it's like, I could tell you about it, and this isn't about me and my program. This is about you. Okay, I want to practice what I preach. It comes with a guarantee, right? We don't leave anybody by the side of the road. These are some of the people that have gotten hires fast. Without the I just messaged without the word chicken. I can't use it. Yeah, we'll get you, Laura. We'll get you. My team's just busy right now. Don't worry. On LinkedIn, we'll send you that course, Laura. We got you. Don't worry. So for instance, Jessie was somebody we worked with last year, nonprofit executive. She had got a bunch of job offers for jobs she really didn't want, and then she got the one that she wanted. It was awesome. Robert was somebody who was actually living abroad. Was just, hey, Morris, hey, we look forward to talking to you. Was living abroad and didn't want to be searching for 6 months or longer. And so he reached out to me and he was like, hey, Eric, can I sign up for your program? And he got hired. He got an offer before he even arrived in the States. Wayne got like 3 or 4 offers. And every time he kept asking me, he's like, Eric, is it okay if I say no? And I'm like, of course, right? That's fine. We have people in the program right now who actually have job offers who are still in the program because they're looking for a better job. Amy was one of these people who she kept getting to like the 3rd round in an interview and just didn't get across. And we started working with her. She got hired in about 6 weeks. John was a CEO, like super muckety muck, making lots more money than I do. And we got him in a CEO position. Philip was an early professional. We got him 2 offers at once. You already met Angel, right? So this stuff really, really works. Guys, let's just show them one more example. Let's show them one more example, and then I'll do it before Q&A, right? We'll do it because some people maybe want to book calls. So look, a lot of time, and we'll show them Andrew when we're ready, Chris and Jessica, thank you. So some of you are thinking, well, I'm just going to wait. If I did, and the sad thing, the thing that breaks my heart is I hear from people that attended this workshop, like this is September. I'm starting to hear from people that attended in March. And they're like, Eric, I'm doing all the things. And I'm like, show me. I'm like, you're not doing it. Right. So there's an opportunity cost here, right? You don't want to keep doing the same thing to get the same results, right? You're going to want to do something different. You're going to want to adopt a different system. Here's the cost of thinking about it or waiting. So Eric says it seems pricey. Yeah, maybe, Eric, but like, buckle up, Eric. My heart goes to you, Eric. If you're like, this is your annual salary. This is how much it's costing you per month. Eric Medina, this is pricey. That's pricey right there, right? This is how much it's costing you per week. You want to talk about pricey? That's pricey, right? So when people sign up for my program, we get them hired, like even if they get hired a couple weeks sooner than they otherwise might, they come out far ahead. So look, it's a whole process. We talk about mindset, and hey, John R., we look forward to talking to you, man. Mindset. And if that's really where your trouble is, or you're not sure what you want to do, or maybe it's your resume, your cover letter, your follow-up, your networking, we cover all of it and all different disciplines, all different levels. Because sometimes people are under the misinterpretation reality out there that, well, 2 rocket scientists have the same issues. No, they don't. Hey, Carlo, we look forward to talking to you. Nice work, right? I could put a rocket scientist and an art historian in the same room and they have the same issues, and 2 art historians don't. This is, job search, or some people will still talk about the market. It's the market. Look, folks, job searching is not a macroeconomic issue. Job searching is a microeconomic issue. This isn't about the market or your industry being saturated. This is about you creating relationships of service with people who need help. That's how you get hired fast. So a lot of you have been asking about costs. The program costs different amounts depending on how people pay for it. A lot of people, I forget who it was earlier. Somebody asked, if they have to pay before? I really appreciate that question because I get that question a lot, and you got to pay a little bit because we want you to have skin in the game, because I've actually tried the other model. Hey, William T, you booked a call. And what happens is if you don't have to pay until you get the job, then that just becomes a disincentive for you getting the job, believe it or not. So yeah, you're going to want to pay. We've got lots of different payment plans. And if your credit's any good at all, like it boils it down to like a couple $100 a month. It's really affordable. And then you can just pay off the rest when you get the job. And, sometimes people say, boy, Eric, that sounds salesy. You place 100 people, percent of people stick with the program. Yeah, we do. Sorry if that feels salesy, but we do, right? If you join this program, the idea is we're going to get you hired in 3 months or less. And if that doesn't happen and you stick with the program, we're going to keep with you until you do. Hi, Letitia. Hi, Letitia. We look forward to talking to you. Okay. Yeah, so Raven says, buy the course or you may not be able to pay the rent. Yeah, Raven. And look, folks, when it comes to money, a lot of us are overestimating the dire straits, right? I hear this all the time. Joel B, we look forward to talking to you, right? A lot of you are probably in better financial condition than you think. This is the time to get this handled, because if you wait another 6 months, you may not be. We have the receipts. We got tons of testimonials. I know you guys want to get to Q&A. So this is how you book a call. A lot of you have already figured this out, right? 3 requirements to book a call. 1, you're going to show up. Please do not ghost us. You guys are job searching right now. You know how much it sucks to get ghosted. Don't do that. Please, show up for yourself, right? Make yourself a priority, right? You're going to be at least open to the idea of investing in yourself, right? If you're like, I have no money, I have no credit, I have no one I can ask, like I love you, right? You put this stuff to work and you're ready to get hired now. Okay. And if nothing else, just sign up because you get some free coaching, right? Our coaches are really, really good. They're going to help you with this coaching stuff. That's what the form looks like. I'm tired of talking. Krishna, you booked a call. So guys, I know some of you may have to leave because it's the top of the hour, and I don't have to leave. I'm going to stick around. We're going to answer some questions. So I know we've got a ton of them. Let's show you my full gigantic head, sort of like a planet. Let's go to some questions. And remember, if anybody wants to go live, we can be dangerous and we can try it. And it could be a total disaster. We'll see. All right, guys, let's see. Let's see some questions. Okay, Rowena. So if you say emotion, how do you get your resume past all the I to get in front of the HR person? Well, first of all, so Raven, is there like a free one-time thing? Yeah, the course you book is going to be free, Raven. There's no cost for the call, just to explore your job stuff. So Rowena, yeah, so what you're going to want to do is, so here's a perfect example. I had a client last year. She was a lady that lives in Las Vegas, and she came up with this all on her own. She, at the bottom of her resume, put 2 truths and a lie. Recently, I've started putting on my resume, and I've had clients use this really successfully, put the 3 things I'm most afraid of. Do you see how, just hearing it, that probably brings up emotion for you, right? That's how you put emotion in your resume, right? That's how you do it. And in terms of getting past the AI, Bryn, why you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, right? And yeah, so in terms of getting it past the AI, so this is where the follow-up comes in. And first of all, I don't think AI is as big of a deal as people make it out to be, right? It's just software. It's sort of like you signed up for this workshop. That was a form of AI that, we knew who you were and how to send you the link and all that stuff. It's the same kind of thing. Carrie L, you booked a call. Nice job, right? And so you're going to want to follow up, and you're not going to want to follow up with a recruiter, because recruiters are professionally trained ninjas to keep you away from the hiring manager. Because if you're talking to the hiring manager, don't tell anybody. We don't need recruiters anymore. And they don't like that. So you're going to want to follow up with the hiring manager, and you're not going to say something like, you're not going to say something like, hey, I just wanted to follow up because I'm really interested because that's all about me. Michael L, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. There's like a whole bunch of Michaels on this call today, and a bunch of Erics too. Represent Eric. All right, next question. Good one. All right, we're going to answer a bunch of questions, guys, because there's a ton of people here still. Khurshid, how is this different from so many other coaches currently offering their services? Khurshid, I have no idea, and I can tell you with 100% certainty that nobody else in the world coaches like I do. Nobody else does the work you do like you do, Khurshid. And that's the point. Nobody can be a better Khurshid than you. So the opportunity is to put more Khurshid in your stuff. How are you different from every other job candidate out there, Khurshid? That's the question to ask. Of course you are. You're Khurshid. So you want to take up space and be the best Khurshid that you can be. Hopefully that answers your question. Antonio booked a call. Nice job, Antonio. All right, let's have more questions. I see you there, Antonio. Nice job. Good job, Jess and Chris. You guys are doing great. Yeah. So Keith, if you pay attention to LinkedIn, we'll be messaging you with asking you if you want the replay. So it's coming around. All right. But I got to tell you guys, the replay is fine. And what you're going to really want to do is do the program, right? I mean, if this stuff is resonating with you, like, don't just like watch the replay, like get help. Rowena says, do you mean like current economic environment? Yeah. So Peter Q, man, last name Q. That's awesome. You booked a call. Nice to meet you, Peter. We're gonna look forward to talking to you. So when I'm talking about the market, right? That's one of these excuses people use. Well, I can't get a job because of the market or my age or my experience, or some people have conspiracy theories and they're like the whole industry is out to black, or my former employer is saying bad things about me, or a million different things. And so realize that job seeking is not a macroeconomic issue. It's a microeconomic issue. This is about you and the other person. It's not about you and the industry or you and the market. Michael A booked a call. There's another Michael. There's so many Michaels today. All right, guys, let's take some more questions here. Good job, everybody. You guys are a great crowd. Love this crowd. Do links on resume actually click? Well, sure they do, Eric, if you make them that way. So you can, create a Word doc and you just add the hyperlink. And then if you send that as a PDF, and especially if you, make it blue and put the underline, it's going to show up as a clickable link. Absolutely, it will. 100%. Richard D booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Richard D. All right, more questions. Love these questions. What about AI? Todd, what about AI? AI is great. And the one thing I would say about AI is, and sometimes I run into clients with this, they'll use like AI on their resume or their cover letter, and it's okay. I mean, I think if we think of AI as a partner, it's fine. And AI, and I love it. I'm a fan. I probably know more about AI than a lot of people on this call. And it can be a little soulless. And that's not something any of us can describe. It's completely tacit. Lillian M booked a call because when we're talking, if the reason they're going to hire us is trust. See, trust isn't something you can quantify, and trust isn't really something that AI can handle. So we're going to, thanks guys. So Todd, the downside of using AI is AI dilutes Todd, and we don't want that. We want your stuff to have the highest concentration of Todd possible, right? Because the reason they're going to hire you is because you're Todd. Yeah. Authenticity, remember? Okay. Next question. Mikkel, what kind of stories? So any story, really. I mean, I told a story in this workshop about somebody getting their arm partially cut off. Any story will do. And especially stories that help others see possibility in themselves. So let's say I was interviewing with a company that did ancient Babylonian cabinet making. I mean, who doesn't love that, right? I wouldn't go on and say, let me tell you about all my skills and experience with ancient Babylonian cabinets and how good I am at making. No, I'd say, one thing about your guys and your ancient Babylonian cabinets, you guys like blue ancient Babylonian cabinets. It reminds me of in 2022, when I was working for this outfit, we had all these orange ancient Babylonian cabinets and we had to turn them blue. Here's what we did. Here was the result. Just a nice little story, because I could say that I know how to change a cabinet from orange to blue. Maybe I'm just trying to convince them, or I could show them, right? I could show them. That's the opportunity. Ricardo G booked a call. Nice job, Ricardo. Okay, more questions. Carrie says, do you offer conversations? Do you see if you need a career change? We do, Carrie. Sorry, my wife's a Carrie. She spells it differently. But yeah, we do. Right. That's one of the things we offer, right? If you're needing clarity over that's something you want, because it could be, Carrie, if you're like a lot of people, Mark R booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Mark, right? It could be that maybe you've got like a crummy boss, or maybe you're just feeling burnt out. So yeah, we do that stuff. And sometimes, with my coaches that help me with enrollment, if sometimes they like, you got to talk to Eric on this one. So sometimes that happens. Yeah. So we do that. Absolutely. 100%. Mark Rothenberg. Ricardo. Yeah, no, there's no charge for the initial call, Ricardo. Thank you for asking. No, of course not. Do you connect people in your network? So yeah, I don't usually my connections, and I know some coaches do that, and that doesn't really work because those are my connections. They're not your connections, Mark, right? You're going to want to like reach out to your connections, and you're going to want to do that at scale. You're going to want to filter the ocean. Now, we send our clients job leads all the time. And the reason we do that is because a lot of times when we're sort of close to something, we can't see the forest for the trees. And so there's great utility in having another person that frankly doesn't even know you, sort of maybe has a couple of, ideas of what you're looking for, and that they're searching for you because they actually don't know you. They don't have all the biases that might come from knowing you, or the biases that maybe you have that you shared with them. They don't know you. So we actually send people job leads, and they're actually pretty good because the people that are finding those leads actually don't know the person that well. So yeah, Chris G booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Chris. All right, let's have some more questions. You guys are such a fantastic crowd. I got to plug in, you guys are asking me so many questions. I got to plug in my laptop. Can you imagine? Right? We're working that hard today. Okay, Mark. All right, Mark, I think you just booked a call. Okay. I was unemployed for 6 months last year. One of my regrets was not hiring help earlier, letting a job even 1 month. Yeah, it sure can, Mark. I so appreciate, I'm so glad we're talking to you, Mark. Because, I can go back to that chart I showed. Like, this is expensive being on a job, and not even to mention like the psychological, emotional toll. Not even, a lot of times people think, oh, being on a job hunt sucks because and it's costing you money. So sorry. I know that sucks. That's why I do these workshops. We want to get this handled. So Myra, yeah, you can get past AI. You circumvent it. You find that free course that we sent you, and you reach out to a hiring manager, make them feel seen, heard, and understood. That's what I would say to Myra. Mara. I'm mispronouncing your name, Mara. Sorry. All right, guys, we're going to do a few more questions. You guys are set. We still have over 100 people here. Jennifer, what is your recommended timeline for following up? So great question. Generally, I would say a week, and you're going to follow up 3 times, right? Isn't today Rosh Hashanah? It is, right? For my Jewish friends, happy Rosh Hashanah, happy New Year. And there's hey, Ray, you booked a call. Nice job, Ray. My Jewish friends tell me, my mother-in-law is a nice Jewish lady, right? There's a tradition, right? If I wanted to become Jewish and I knocked on a rabbi's door, I'd knock on the door and say, okay, I want to become Jewish. She'd be like, nope, too hard, my son. This path is too hard. I'd have to come back and knock again. She'd say, nope, too hard. Can't do it. I'd have to knock 3 times before she'd be like, okay, come in, let's talk. I think there's a thing. It's so the rule thing, it's like a Yom Kippur thing for forgiveness too. I don't know exactly. 3 times. You're going to follow up 3 times. And it's not going to be, hey, I'm hoping to hear back from you because that's about me. You're so welcome, March. We look forward to talking to you, right? So 3 times you're going to follow up. Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer. Love that question. Did I watch the Sex and the City episode? I didn't. Maxim A booked a call. Nice job. But I'm going to check that out because I think that's some reference I don't even know. Maxim A booked a call. All right, guys, we'll take a couple more questions because you guys have been such a great crowd. Sue says, trying to schedule a call and there are no times available in September and the calendar will not let me get to October. Oh, okay. So Sue, come back to us. It looks like enough people have booked time or Sue, actually, what you may want to do is make sure you're hitting the little button that goes to October. Okay, so some of you guys are having trouble with the call link. I am sorry about that. We've filled up. So Charlotte wanted to be Jewish to marry. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm gonna see if I can do this on the fly here. I don't want to mess it up, but let's see here if I can add a little availability in real time. This is real time here. Hey, yeah, so let's just see if I can do this. Again, I don't want to mess it up. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see here if I can do this. I'm going to do it live. This is real technology, guys. And then we're going to, yeah, I don't want to mess this up, guys. So look, those of you who are having trouble booking a call, where's your faces again? I'm going to take care of that as soon as we get off the workshop. I'll take care of that. So don't give up. Don't give up. I'm going to take care of that right now. But look, guys, I just really acknowledge you for being here, for taking your valuable time to be here on this call and to get help that you need. I'm cheering for you 100%, and you can do this. Hey, Tanya D, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. So take care of yourselves. Please know that there are bright things on the horizon for you. If you're looking for help to get this job stuff handled, we can absolutely help you take care of that. And you don't have to do this on your own. You don't have to keep doing the same thing you've been doing because that's just no good. That's no good, guys. All right, my friend, take care of yourselves. I'm going to go on right now and add some more availability. So take care of yourselves. Thanks for being here.